Welcome to the deep dive. So the big news everyone's talking about in military aviation circles anyway is China's new stealth fighter, the J-35.
That's right. Just last month, June 6th, actually, we saw footage. It looked pretty official.
Yeah, it showed it joining the 1st Air Brigade, flying right alongside the J-20, its bigger sibling.
And that's significant. This wasn't just some test flight. It really signals, okay, the J-35 is properly in service now.
Exactly. So today we want to go beyond just the headlines, dig into what this plane can do, what it means strategically.
And really why this development is, well, kind of a big deal for global air power.
Okay, let's unpack this then. What does the J-35 actually bring to the table? And how does it fit into China's bigger picture, their air power strategy?
Well, the really fascinating part, strategically speaking, is what this represents. China is now the first country anywhere to be mass producing 2 different 5th-generation fighters at the same time.
2 distinct types.
Yeah, and we're talking 5th-gen, stealth, super advanced sensors, integrated systems, the works. It fits perfectly into this idea of a high-low mix.
High-low.
Meaning you have the really high-end, top-tier capability like the J-20.
Which came into service back in 2017, right? The first non-U.S. 5th gen?
Correct. Developed by Chengdu. And now you complement it with the J-35 from Shenyang, which first flew way back in 2012, but is only now officially joining the ranks. It's the lower end of that high-low strategy, though lower is obviously relative here.
Still 5th gen. So capability-wise, what are we looking at with the J-35? Does it borrow much from the J-20?
Oh, absolutely. It uses a lot of the same kind of cutting-edge tech. You've got the advanced stealth, obviously, radar-absorbent coatings, the low observable airframe design.
Like a standard 5th gens.
Right, but also the sensor fusion systems, things like distributed aperture systems, advanced data links. It all feeds into giving the pilot this incredible, 360-degree view, really high situational awareness.
Seeing everything everywhere sounds potent. But it is smaller than the J-20. There are always trade-offs in design, aren't there?
Exactly. That's where it gets interesting. Being smaller does mean, compromises.
Like what specifically?
Shorter range is one. It carries a smaller radar compared to the J-20 and a lower weapons payload inside its bays.
Okay. And what about how it flies? The J-20 has those distinctive canards, right? Those little wings at the front.
It does. And they give the J-20, exceptional agility, especially up high speeds. The J-35 has a more conventional layout, aerodynamically speaking, so it probably won't quite match the J-20 in pure maneuverability.
So, okay, less range, smaller radar, fewer weapons, maybe not quite as agile. Sounds like a list of downsides, but there must be an upside strategically.
You hit it right there. The big advantage for the J-35 is almost certainly cost. It's likely far cheaper to build, to operate, and to maintain than the J-20.
Ah, okay. So you can afford more of them.
Precisely. It lets China field these advanced stealth capabilities in much greater numbers, spreading them across the force without, perhaps, breaking the bank quite as much as an all J-20 fleet would.
A numbers game, then. More presence for the cost.
Kind of. You use the J-20 for those really critical high-end missions, maybe deep strikes or air dominance against top threats. And then you have potentially lots of J-35s for broader air superiority, fleet defense, that sort of thing.
Makes sense. Now, you mentioned range limitations. There has been some chatter, some analysis suggesting its range might be a bit short for the vast distances in the Pacific. Is that a fair criticism?
It's a point people raise, yes. Compared to the J-20, its range is likely less. But we need context here.
Okay.
Even with that limited range, it's still expected to be, roughly comparable to something like the F-15 Eagle.
Which is known for having pretty long legs for a Western fighter.
Exactly. And it's expected to fly much farther than the F-35, which is, let's face it, the only 5th-gen fighter the West is currently mass-producing. So limited is very relative. It's still a capable platform in terms of reach.
Right. Context is key. So looking ahead then, this dual 5th-gen approach, it's not just a temporary thing.
It certainly doesn't look like it. We've already seen signs this is the strategy going forward. Both Chengdu and Shenyang unveiled prototypes of 6th-generation concepts back in December 2024.
2 6th-gen designs as well. Wow.
Yep. Flight prototypes, no less. It strongly suggests this parallel, complementary high-low development path is set to continue, aiming for service sometime in the early 2030s.
So the trend continues, although I guess we still don't know exactly how many J-35s they plan to buy, right?
That's true. The ultimate scale, the procurement rate, that's still a bit uncertain for the J-35 within the Air Force itself. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out.
Okay, so pulling this all together then, for you, our listener, the main thing to grasp here is China's really unique position now, this ability to produce two different fifth-gen fighters simultaneously.
Yeah, it's a capability no one else has right now. And that leads to a really important question for you to think about.
Which is,
What does this kind of high-low mix, this force structure, actually mean for the future? How might it shift air power dynamics globally? And how will other countries adapt their own strategies now that this is the new reality they face? Something to consider.